Hello, everybody. Hi, Madison. We're back. Welcome to session 3, and we are back at Brookside.
Yes, Brookside Reservation. And we just came from a nice walk through the park, enjoying this beautiful nature and the sounds. It is so relaxing after a busy day. A free resource local in the community. It's so much greenery, and it just definitely helps calm me when I'm walking through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you haven't taken advantage of the Metro Parks yet, check out your local Metro Parks. They have walking trails, all kinds of activities, and get you outside, get some fresh air. We got fresh air earlier at the farmer's market.
That's right. We got all these goodies for you, very colorful. That means they're packed with various nutrients, phytochemicals, right? Mm-hmm. And we always talk about the rainbow and the importance of getting different colors within your plate and your meals. And it's just, you'll see, it's very colorful, very unique things that we have today. Some things you might not have tried before. So we'll talk a bit more about that in a bit.
Yeah. So again, welcome to session 3. We do have another session coming up as part of our whole Wellness for You series. We'd like to thank everybody for attending the last few sessions that we had and filling out those evaluations for us. That gives us a lot of good feedback. And also for all of your comments and pictures, please keep them coming. Remember, you can comment and utilize the chat features and stuff on whatever social media you're using. Just make sure you tag NFP, and we should be getting those pictures.
Yeah, and don't forget to share. Right now, go ahead and click share. You can share it to your story. You share anything to your story, more folks will see it. And that means they can come on in, tune in live with us right now, and they can get all this great information as well. And if you have not done so, go ahead and look at the drop down part of this post and get the link to our Wellness for You Facebook page so we can continue the dialogue. You can share great things that you're preparing. If you ever recreate anything that we make or new things that we might not know to make or haven't tried ourselves that your family loves to make, you can share that on there and we can continue the dialogue and all get well together.
Yeah, and congratulations to all of you who have been commenting and sending pictures, because as you remember, that puts you in the running to win fabulous prizes. So congratulations to those of you that have won, and for those of you that are going to win this week.
Yes, and if you don't know if you won yet, be sure to check your email, because if you filled out the evaluation, you put your email in there, and that's where I let you know that you have won the raffles. And if you have commented but you didn't do the evaluations, I send you a Facebook, I think it's an inbox or DM, direct message, instant message. Madison, she's the guru, yes. Instant message in Facebook. So go ahead and check that out, and that's how you know if you have won the raffles. Okay? So if nothing else, we will get started with session 3. It is National Farmers Market Week. So they don't have a full month, but I feel like farmers market season, I believe, starts May ends October. Yeah, and we have a list on our website, on the wellness page of our website. You go to nfpmedcenter.org, go to the services tab, and then it'll be a drop-down box, and it will say wellness. You click on the wellness tab and scroll down a bit. You will see a few different buttons. One will be for resources and recipes. That's where you can find everything from today's session and our past 2 sessions and other things that we've prepared in the past. But in that resource button today, you will see a list of the local farmers markets that are operating right now. Even though it's COVID, they do have safety guidelines, so make sure you wear your mask when you're there, and you do some social distancing, do the recommended social distancing, physical distancing, and go and take advantage of the local farmers markets that's open and operating in your community. Right? So I will let Kelly get started on the first recipe, and we can dive in. So as we're doing this, be sure to comment and engage with us, because we'll talk to you throughout. We'll answer your questions throughout, and we got some cool challenges coming up as well, so you can win some prizes right away.
We do have a comment from Dara. She said it's a really lovely setting, and she asked, did we have to carry all of this across the grass?
No, actually it's a little drive up by the pavilions, taped off, so it's not a pretty sight, but the pavilion is taped off, and they normally have, you know, when you have gatherings here, you could drive up or back your car in, and we're able to unload and set up right here. So the first time we did not realize that, and we literally carried everything over. So thank you for caring about our well-being, Dara. Or Dara, I think it might be Dara.
And thank you for letting us know how lovely this turned out, because we're really pleased with all the color and how great everything looks out here. We are wilting a little bit, but it's by far much cooler than it was the first time we were here at Brookside. Yeah. And we've got the grills going for a recipe that we're going to show you. So we've got a little heat coming off, and we're wearing our hats to protect our skin from the sun, because you know, summer months in Ohio, it's important to protect your skin too.
Yes, in addition to your hats, make sure you wear your sunscreen. Wear your sunscreen, is very important.
Yep. All right, so Farmers Market Week. What's great about farmers markets is that the produce is usually pretty local. It's grown in your state, if not your own neighborhood. And what's great about local produce is that it's close to home, so that means it's going to be full of nutrition. It hasn't had to travel a long distance. It's not sitting in the grocery store under lights and exposed to air and everything. So the closer something is grown to your home, the more nutritious it is, just because it hasn't been sitting around. Also, your body gets used to the type of soil and stuff that it's grown in. So if you can utilize your farmers markets, that is great. Also remember that your grocery store a lot of times has like a local produce section too.
Yeah, and in addition to that, piggybacking off of that topic about shopping locally and utilizing the farmers markets, when you shop locally and your produce is grown here in Ohio or even in Cleveland, that means you're saving money. So you don't have to pay for that extra, transport of bringing it in from overseas or another state. So as much as possible, shop at your local farmers market, buy locally. It also boosts our local economy as well. But we're all about saving the money, saving the coin. So shop locally and support your local economy, and keep more money in your pockets for trips whenever we open back up to go on trips.
And we grow a lot of stuff here in Ohio. So we're supporting the local farmers, but also that means that all this stuff is in season right now. So you're getting like the best produce. It's going to be very flavorful and lots of color. And if you have watched our other sessions, you might remember that we talked about the My Plate, and that half of your plate should be vegetables. And so this is like a great way, picking up stuff at your farmer's market, to do that, to make sure that half your plate is always those vegetables. We also talked about the rainbow. So obviously you see a rainbow of colors here. Even the carrots that Michelle found is like 3 different colors in one bag.
Rainbow carrots,
so we've got a rainbow on our plate, half the plate is veggies. And last time we talked about desserts and treats too.
or dialogue before we jump in? Any more questions from folks?
No, just a couple people tuning in and saying hi.
Hi. Welcome, welcome. We're about to dive right into the first recipe, and just stay tuned because we got some challenges along the way.
Okay. So all these recipes are available on our website and attached to the Facebook that you're watching. The first recipe we're going to do is called a garden cannellini bean salad. And I know it seems like we use a lot of beans in our recipes, but the great thing about beans is that they're a source of protein and they're really high in fiber. So you may be able to find fresh beans at your farmer's market, but today we're going to use store-bought. And we're really just making a simple salad that incorporates veggies and beans with a type of dressing. Now, another thing I wanted to point out about any kind of dressing that you make for our recipes, if you like the taste of them, you could whip up a larger batch and then just have that around for like your salads anytime. It doesn't have to just go with the recipe. So this one is just some olive oil. So I've got a tablespoon of olive oil here. And as you can see, I use a lot of olive oil, so I buy the most giant container out there. Tablespoon of olive oil. We're gonna put some white wine vinegar in here as well. And you can also use like a rice vinegar or something like that. You don't want to necessarily use like a balsamic or something really rich in this. But we're going to put 2 teaspoons of white vinegar in here. It calls for a half a cup of apple juice, and I've already got that pre-measured. What I wanted to point out about the apple juice is this is 100% apple juice, so it's just something you might have in your refrigerator already. This half cup is actually a serving of juice, so I just like to point that out. It's not very much, but we're using the whole half cup for this dressing. And then for the seasoning aspect, we're going to use a bottled seasoning, and this one is great because it's salt-free, so there's a lot going on in here. It's a garlic and herb blend, and no salt. But this is what's going to give it a lot of flavor. So I'm using a tablespoon of this. It's quite a bit, but it's okay because no salt. And that is it. That is the dressing for this very tasty recipe. I'm going to whisk it up a little bit just to kind of incorporate all of that seasoning and all those flavors. And we're really just going to pour it over our salad. Ooh, let me show you what's in the salad. So, these cannellini beans, I've opened the can, rinsed them, drained them really well, and these are cannellini beans, which is like a white kidney bean, but you can use any kind of bean, really. Navy beans, oh my gosh, there's a lot of them. So you can use any kind of bean that you want. What's nice about this salad and the fact that there's beans in it is this makes it more of a complete meal. You've got protein and these vegetables that you found at the farmer's market. So speaking of farmer's market, let's start using the stuff that we picked up this afternoon. Fresh tomatoes. There's nothing like fresh tomatoes grown close to home. It's going to be a lot of flavor there, and we've already added a color. It calls for half of a yellow pepper, so I threw the other half in here because I might want to use this later for another recipe that we're doing, but half of a yellow pepper. And just in general, I mean, when you're making dishes like this, it's important that you try to cut things kind of uniform. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect by any means, just chopping it up is fine, but the more uniform it is, the more likely you are to get a little bit of every single thing in your fork full, and that way you'll taste a little bit of everything. So here is a half of a cucumber, and it asks to peel it. You could leave the peel on. There's a lot more fiber and nutrition going on in the peel, but that's up to you. And then 3 green onions, just kind of sliced up. And it's not very much, but that's going to give it that little savory kick. So if you want to zoom in on that, we've got lots of colors already, and it's very simple. This is what the recipe says, but like we always tell you, Michelle and I are big on use what you've got. So if you went to the farmer's market and found different peppers or heirloom tomatoes or whatever, just throw them in here. And then we're just going to add the dressing. And I mean, you could add as much or as little as you like. I'm just going to put a little in there to kind of show you. And you might want to throw this in the fridge for an hour or two just to get nice and chilled, let all those things incorporate in there. But when you're ready to serve it, the recommendation is putting it on like a lettuce leaf. Now mine's getting a little wilty here because it's sitting in the sun, but this is like a bib lettuce that we picked up that's actually grown here in Cleveland. It's like a butterhead lettuce, it's called. So I just picked a couple leaves out of here, rinsed it off, and what it says to do is to just kind of put a little serving on each leaf, and then it makes it kind of like a little snazzy for a side dish. And because the beans are in there, this could be a full meal too.
Someone mentioned that they love cannelloni beans.
Okay, I think that might be what this is. Cannellini beans, white kidney beans. I do have to say these were a little difficult to find at the grocery store, but there were a variety of other beans that could have worked just as well in here. But yeah, I mean, the cannellini I think are just like a smooth type of bean as opposed to like a garbanzo or something like that. But that is it. That is our beautiful cannellini salad and a serving suggestion. Okay. So if there aren't any other questions, some of the things too, like I said, if you don't have a farmer's market nearby, usually the grocery stores have like a local section where you can at least find tomatoes or zucchini or something that's grown close to home. So you can always take advantage of that.
Someone did ask, is cannelloni beans the same as white beans?
Yes, yeah, it's a white kidney bean. So when you buy beans for like a chili or something, you're buying the red kidney or the dark red kidney. This is a white version of that.
That is so pretty. So we'll just transition a bit here.
Oh wait, I forgot something.
The dressing that I took you?
No, you know what I forgot? I forgot the almond slivers. Okay.
Ah, pretty.
So, this recipe also calls for just a half a cup of almond slivers. And what I wanted to show you is that I bought the almond slivers that were not toasted. The recipe asks that you toast them. Don't be intimidated if a recipe calls for like toasted this or that. It's actually really, really easy. All I did was spray a standard pan, like a little fry pan, with a little bit of nonstick spray. Measured out a half a cup of these onto the pan, and then sprayed the tops a little bit, and then just let them kind of toast up over like low heat, and keep an eye on them because they toast really fast. But it brings out the flavor in the almond, and I'm not going to put these in there. Well, okay, so it's a half a cup. Obviously, if you have somebody that's allergic to nuts, you're going to skip this part, but it's going to give it like that little bit of crunch in there, a little interesting texture. And if you do have someone allergic to nuts and cannot utilize nuts in this recipe, I'm thinking sunflower seeds, shelled would work fabulous. Also, we have recipes that we can put on our website how you can roast garbanzo beans and it makes it like a nice crunchy little bean. Maybe that could be an addition to this to give it that little crunch if you're not an almond kind of person. But there you go. There's the almonds.
Delicious. And if you want, we can leave, because this is such a pretty presentation. We can leave these up here. One of them, at least your finalized plate, or you can leave this mixture, whatever you want.
No, this is
Alright, so we're going to swap a bit. We are bringing in right now the ingredients and the materials for vegetable foil pouches. Anybody ever made foil pouches out there with vegetables or anything else? When you've been out and about camping, or just throwing something quick in the oven or on the grill outside, let us know if you have. Any responses yet?
Not yet. There's a couple emojis that say it looks good.
I love emojis. Love emojis. So with the foil pouches, was really unique about this. I told Kelly, I remember making my first one when I used to put like chicken or salmon, like I'm on the go all the time, working in the community. So just something quick and easy that I can put in while I'm getting ready or the night before, and it lasts, for a few days, and it holds the moisture. So when you're doing foil pouches, and you'll see as I go along, sometimes chicken breasts can dry out, right? Unless you're doing like chicken thighs or something like that. And salmon as well. I used to like dry out my salmon so easily in the oven. So what I found with the aluminum foil, just knowing to cook different kind of dishes in the oven, is that the foil itself helps to retain the moisture for whatever you put in there. So I will put like a whole bunch of vegetables like you see what I'm about to do, and then I will put the chicken, it will be raw, put it on top of the vegetables, or the salmon on top of the vegetables, season everything in there, both like I told you last time, layer the flavor, season it, and then fold up the pouch, and then I'll put it in the oven and get ready for my day, and it will be ready. Go ahead, anybody got a question?
Yeah, a couple people said that someone said they put chicken, garlic, and Brussels sprouts in a pouch and bake it, and then someone else said they've done it with potatoes while camping.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. So you'll actually see I'll have red potatoes in this recipe. Brussels sprouts is a great one. For whatever reason, my daughter's favorite vegetable is Brussels sprouts. I always tell people, what kid loves Brussels sprouts as a kid? I did not like Brussels sprouts. They say it's the baby of cabbage, right? It's the baby cousin of cabbage. So I find that if you cook it right, roasting is the best, grilling, season it very well, Brussels sprouts can be very, very tasty. So before we get started, we thought it would be kind of fun if we did a quick little challenge for you guys, and this is a way for you to win a gift card. So we're going to pick 2 winners right now. We want to know if you, like how good your eye is. Remember I Spy or the Watto, what was it? Where's Watto and I Spy? Yeah. Now, probably not Where's Watto, but nonetheless, you get the Where's the cilantro, right? So we told you that we went to the farmer's market earlier and we got this good stuff. Some of these things you, like say if you don't go to a farmer's market right now, or if you don't know where one is locally, or you're not quite comfortable with going to one yet because you've never been to one, you can get all of these things from a grocery store as well. I've literally bought the same thing at different grocery stores. So 2 of the things that we picked up, people tend to get them confused because they look so identical. And how we normally tell it to be, you know, the difference between one or the other is by the smell. So right here in front, we have, I'm not going to point which is which. One is cilantro and one is parsley. The first 2 people that can tell us if it's cilantro, which will be on your right, I think. So this one will be A and this one will be B. So A, B. Is this one cilantro or parsley? This is A. Or is this one cilantro or parsley? This is B. So tell us which one is A, which one is B, cilantro or parsley. So we'll give you a couple of minutes to go ahead and tick, type away and let us know your best guess. The first 2 people that guess it right will win the gift cards. And these gift cards will be to Dave's and or Audie, okay? Gift cards to Dave's and or Audie. So go ahead and let us know what you think. Cilantro or parsley. They're super, super close. I mean, we bought these and we both had to smell and walk away and smell because it was close to the grill. So are we getting anybody?
Yeah, one person said A is cilantro, and then a couple other people said A is cilantro and B is parsley.
Okay, all right. I'm going to give it like 30 more seconds.
And
so
this is
we
like
need to
stuff
know
that
the
you
first
can
2 people.
grow at your own home too.
That's
You want
right.
to talk about like local food? There's nothing more local than your own backyard.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to grow some of this stuff, and then you just snipping off what you need for some of these recipes.
Yep, and you'll see us use some of this right now in these foil pouches. So, Madison, you remember which is which, right?
Yes, I do.
So if you want to look at the comments and tell us who are the first 2 winners that guessed it correctly.
Okay, let's
we can
look.
tell them which one it is. So this one, ding, 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 it is cilantro. And this one is parsley.
So I think the first person is Jesus Cruz.
Oh, hey, yep, that's Jesus.
Jesus.
Hi, we miss seeing you in person.
And then Waleska Curl.
Waleska, hi, how are you? Now, this is your second time winning. She also won before by completing evaluations. So I'm telling you, guys participate, complete those evaluations. You could be winning all the time, every time you see us on the screen. So yes, cilantro, good eye, guys. Cilantro and parsley. I wonder how you guys could tell the difference. I'm not sure if you guys are just like experts with using this all the time. If you know a little trick that we might not have known to figure it out without looking at the label, I only can tell by smelling because they're that similar or by taste, because cilantro is much more strong than parsley. It's a milder herb. So what I'm going to show you, Kelly brought up a great point. I'll come back over to you, Madison, or you can come over here, it doesn't matter. But when she was speaking about growing your own at home, this literally came from my house. And I actually bought this little, it's called a salad garden. I bought this last year from Audi. It was about $7, $7.99. And the seeds literally last me all year. I procrastinated so much because I wanted to wait for my kids to be ready, and we were just moving. So right here in this, we started growing this about 3 weeks ago, and I have the beginning stages and, you know, pictures throughout. This is red kale. Never had red kale, but it's so pretty. It's like purplish, burgundy, and some green in there. Can you get a good little look at it? And then this here is spinach. Now this, I forgot the exact name of what kind of spinach this is, but you can already tell the formation of this spinach. But you see, it's not like the regular rich dark green that you would see in the store. And the roots is also like burgundy. So it's a pretty color. And this one, I always forget what this is. I should have looked at my little tab again, but this one takes a lot longer to grow. It was like a little tiny leaf. But basically, when all of this mature, I can harvest it and make my own salad. So if you grow it, this is like $7.99 or $7. Where if you go buy a bag of lettuce mixed like this, you might have to spend $3.99 or something like that, and you'll only get a couple of uses. With this, because it's yours, it's going to constantly grow, so you'll constantly be able to clip it and make you salads ongoing as long as you take care of it. So essentially, it will save you money. So never believe that thing about eating healthy is more expensive. If you grow it, you control what's in it, and you can control how much you're spending out of your pockets, okay? So I'm going to set this aside, and we'll actually dive in with these pouches. Now, I know we did a little segment there, so I'll make this quick, just to show you how quick and easy it is to make pouches. And a disclaimer, I literally rinse everything before we started, so no worries there. Always want to rinse your stuff, whether you're getting it for the farmer's market or the grocery store and it's already packaged and say pre-washed. Still put in a little colander, a little strainer, and rinse it off yourself, okay? And that's the pesticides and everything like that. We want to get that out of there. So let me put it on here first. Right here, you'll see the little pretty rainbow carrots. I got this bag from Walmart. Walmart had the rainbow carrots. And sorry, Madison. When I first got rainbow carrots, I got it from Heinen's. I had never seen rainbow carrots. And it was probably about 4 or 5 years ago when I first had it. And I was just so fascinated. Like, carrots are any other color than orange. The kids love this when we did like a preschool boot camp, nutrition boot camp. They love seeing colorful vegetables. So, and Kelly was telling me it was a rainbow type of pepper at Mark's, which I've never seen. So kids and adults, big kids, love to see colorful things that they've never seen before in the common vegetables that they have or that you make at home. So what I'm going to do, I said that to say, go ahead and branch out. If you see something that you've never had before, just try it out, because you never know. You just might love it, and it might be the hit of whatever, you know, when we can't have parties again or holiday time together. Now you might see them flying over, but it's okay. We rinse and look, it's even like a pear color, you know, like a white carrots. Now the one thing I will say about when you're doing the foil pouches, kind of get, it won't be perfect, but kind of get them the same or similar sizes so it can cook evenly and together. So as I chop, you will see me just put them in 2 different foil pouches. Want a little bit more space here for you guys. I'll put them up here. How about that? Another one. 2 different foil pouches. Boom. Okay. And I want a little bit, I told you guys before, I kind of like some even colors, because everything has to be colorful. So just a little bit of that. So we have that one. We have some pepper. Oh, we'll use this yellow. And anytime we're making things, Kelly and I always think about like the rainbow. So we know without a shadow of a doubt, we're getting the nutrients, the fiber, the phytochemicals, it's no pill that can recreate all the nutrients that are within fruits and vegetables. Just want to say that. So as much as possible, take advantage of the different colors within your fruits and vegetables, okay? Because there's just so many great health benefits to it. I won't cut up all these peppers, but can you see me? Mm-hmm. I got one on here.
And when you're shopping for this stuff too, just remember, like, you're going to be cutting this up and adding them to these packets. So it doesn't have to be perfect.
Nope.
If you see a piece of, I don't know what, like a pepper that looks a little funny, or has like a little
Yeah.
extra knob on it, or is a different color, it's okay.
Yep.
There's actually some programs now for imperfect produce,
Yes.
or like misfit produce. It's just as good as any other produce, and sometimes it can cost you a lot less.
Yes. And that's because, unfortunately, this is where you'll find the imperfect produce the most at farmers markets, because it's just a standard that a lot of grocery stores have. If it's not perfectly shaved, it got dents in it, it's brown. Certain grocery stores won't carry it because of eye appeal. That means the consumers won't buy it. So take advantage. There's nothing wrong with it. If it's a little weird shape or a little discolored, it still has the nutrients in there. What you're going to see me do now, if you can take the top off that, Kelly. What you're going to see me do is drop it in this red little bucket, and that is the clips from the other ones I made earlier. This is called a compost. So the compost is great for many different things. Number one, we are reducing food waste, and we talk about that throughout our different shows. Reducing food waste is essential to making sure that we save our planet, okay, without going into all detail. Save our planet, reducing food waste does that first and foremost. And then when you do this and you put it into your soil, and Kelly, I told you guys, she is our residential composter here at NFP. So when you do this, correct me if I'm wrong, Kelly, composting also adds nutrients to our soil that you will not find in that's been recreated in the soil that you buy in the store. The same way I told you, a pill cannot recreate the nutrients and phytochemicals that we take for our body. That's naturally in these vegetables and the fruit. So take advantage of what you're going to throw away in the trash. You can put it in other things like soup, but definitely put it in the compost with some other things. It's a whole research we're going to provide you next go around that will help with that. And it also reduces like pests and diseases with your plants. And Kelly, she can tell you more about that.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a good example of something you keep on your kitchen counter. And so when you're prepping like this, all those little knobby ends and seeds and things that you're not going to eat, you just throw them in here. And then if you have a larger area in a yard where you can then dump this like at the end of the day or once a day, there are all kinds of rules about composting, like how much green matter, how much brown matter and everything, but you just don't want this to go to waste. All the nutrients that are in this right now are going to soak back into the soil. So if you are interested in growing your own herbs or doing like a tomato plant or something in your backyard, this will eventually provide like good nutrient-rich soil that you can use to do that.
Yeah, that is all great information. So I personally just learned all about composting this year. I won't fib to you guys. We don't know everything, right? We don't know what we know until we need to know it. That's my favorite saying. You don't know what you know until you need to know it. But it's so fascinating to me. Well, I heard about it when we used to be stationed in South Korea, but I never did it myself. I just knew that if you didn't compost in South Korea, you would be fined by like 10,000 won or 1 million won or whatever. It's just a lot of money. It's like $1,000, whatever it's equivalent to. $1,000 you'll be fined if you did not compost and put your food in a separate bag. They then take that compost that we tend to throw away, especially people that don't know the benefits about it, and they use it in their rice fields and in other things. So it's very, very beneficial. Eggshells, banana peels,
Coffee grounds, filter, you can throw the whole filter in there.
Yeah. So just look into it. We'll put a resource out for you guys the next time. Now, I personally can't do two things at once. I'm not ashamed of that. So it's taking me a little bit longer, guys. But essentially, I'm just throwing all this stuff in here.
And this is the recipe is put together with things like asparagus and potatoes and peppers and carrots, but you could use any veggies that you grabbed at the farmer's market that day.
Yep.
We're really talking about not wasting this food, so it's important that you know what you're going to do with it, have kind of a plan for it. You know, you could have picked this up earlier today and decided just to make these packets for dinner today or for lunch today.
Yeah.
If you're not going to get around to using this stuff though, there are ways to kind of do a little bit of prep and then stick these things in your freezer, and then you can use them down the road. You can maybe make veggie packets another night, or join us for our next session, which we're going to talk about one-pot meals. Maybe you have some extra green beans or something that you grabbed at the farmer's market. You don't have plans for them today. Freeze them and save them for our next session.
Yep. Thank you for mentioning that too, because it also reminds me with our last session, we talked all about when your fruit and vegetables, well, especially your fruit, when it's about to go bad, to freeze them, right? And she just talked about freezing them. But what you can do, we'll give you an example of that too. Anytime you feel like, okay, I won't make this and you feel like your vegetables is getting a little sweaty like we talked about before, rinse them off like I showed you before, and I did that with that also, and just throw them in a foil pouch or throw them in something else. So with this, we don't have to, with this one we're not going to add any salt, any pepper. I have crushed red pepper. I told you guys last time. I like spicy food. I like a little heat to my food, and the crushed red pepper gives a lot of heat. I probably put too much, but all of myself is like, yeah. Nobody else can have those. They probably can't handle it. If I had fresh jalapenos, I would throw that in there as well. Some cumin. I love cumin with that. Cumin. And even some cayenne pepper. Oh, just spice all around for me. So I'm just going to put that back in there. I also have like, you know, an ear of corn left over from our last one, our first one that we did, the corn with. It's still, oh, you see the tip? I want to show you that too. This from our first one that we did. The tip is kind of like going bad, so I would put that in the compost. But you see that? It's still good. And it's been like, what, 5 weeks or 6 weeks since our first one? And it's still good. And I paid like 39 cents for this from Walmart. So other than the seasons, all I did was put on there some Mrs. Dash, excellent, no extra salt in there. And then I used the crushed red pepper. No extra salt, no extra pepper used. But a lot of these, if not all of these vegetables, have the natural sodium MSG in it, correct? And when you add herbs and spices to your vegetables, I know this myself because I do this all the time. It infuses, along with the oil, it infuses the vegetables, and that natural sodium comes up, bubbles out, and it like naturally give it the salt flavor. So you don't have to add any extra salt to it. So what you're gonna see me now is do a little drizzle. This is like a huge bottle, right? So it'll come out more than a drizzle. But like always, I tell you guys, for the kiddos, I like to have my hands in my food. My mom taught me this a long time ago when I used to help make macaroni and cheese. Wash your hands, of course. But look at that. It evenly spreads it. Of course, if it's in a bowl, you know, you can toss it around, but I like the feel of that. And kids love, I told you guys before, the sensory. They love to get in there with the food, with their hands, okay? So now all I'm gonna do is super simple. We had a whole dialogue about it, but this will be much quicker. This will already be on the grill or in the oven. You just fold it in like I did, and then you put it together and fold it over. And that's it, okay? And then you put it on the grill. If you have an open face grill like we have here, the grill will take a little bit longer. So it might take 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes. If you have a grill that you can cover like at home, then it will be quick. Maybe like 10, 15 minutes at the most, because the pouches again creates that steam bath that you want, and also kind of like a roasting kind of situation with the foil pouches. So I'm just gonna set it onto the heat and let it do its thing. Open face grill, so again, it might take about 20, 25 minutes. And then I'm gonna bring you over. I'm gonna bring you over to this one here, and we'll open up a couple for you so you can see. My baby wipes, right? Clean our hands, clean. We'll open up a couple, well, all of them, so you can see. It's been sweating a little nicely there. So these probably been cooking. Oh, that smells so good. Can you smell the seasonings? Again, I added absolutely no salt, no pepper. And look at that steam. Can you catch that steam? I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's been steaming for probably like 20 minutes. It smells so good. I told you to infuses the vegetables, the flavor. It's like a mince flavor. Look at that steam. I hope you guys are catching this on the camera. I hope you guys can see it. And again, we don't, what you call it, Kelly? Smell-o-vision?
Smell-o-vision.
We don't have smell-o-vision, but you can see the beautiful vegetables sweating, and some of the like potatoes and everything, the browning on the that is, I didn't even tell them what kind of squash. That is summer squash. Summer squash is a great one to have right now. Of course, it's in season, hint the name. So yeah, this is all good stuff. Very inexpensive because these vegetables are in season right now. And the only other thing I will say, again, like at the top, if you choose to make this, we're showing you tons of vegetarian, vegan options, or if you want to increase your children's vegetable intake, easy way for them to get involved, do it. It tastes amazing. You can put any type of like vinaigrette on top of it when you get done. Eat it as is, great flavor. And you can toss shrimp, chicken, if you want some type of meat source in it. Just make it your own. And again, whatever you have. Okay, so there you have it. Those are the vegetable foil pouches. Do we have any comments or questions about that?
A lot of people saying it looks delicious.
I know. I can't wait for us to finish because I'm going to eat one. We'll actually probably have lunch in the park.
Someone also mentioned using parsnips.
Parsnips,
Yeah.
nice. Yes, so I only made that about a couple of years ago. And guess what I forgot to do? But that's okay. You can garnish. I learned this on Food Network Channel 2. You just snap some off. Again, this is the parsley. Snap some leaves off of that. Snap some leaves off of that. And this doesn't have to fully cook in it. Of course, it will enhance the flavor more if you use it while you're cooking. But if you did what I just did, forget, because you were chit-chatting. Just add it at the end as garnish. And the heat from the vegetables, because it's still heat there, the heat from the vegetables will wilt the herbs down. Herbs takes less than a minute really to do its thing in there. And you can mix it up or just garnish it. Look how pretty that is. All right, make it work with what you have. Oh, yes, that gives me complete life right there. All right, so back to Kelly.
All right, so I know we're running a little low on time, but I want to just run through this recipe real quick because there's a couple things I want to show you. This is a cucumbers and vinaigrette recipe, and so again, these fabulous cucumbers that we got today at the farmer's market, so they're super fresh, grown around here, and I left the skins on this one so that there's plenty of fiber in there too. And all I'm doing is making another type of dressing to put on this. Now this is a half cup of that same vinegar that we used earlier. So if you invest in this and have this in your pantry, now you have 2 recipes that you can use to use that up. I put a half of a teaspoon of the crushed red pepper in there. It's going to give it a nice little kick. And then there's 3 other ways that we're flavoring this up. We're using dill and chives, and we actually bought these at the grocery store just to show you that whether you can grow these yourself, you can buy the plant at the farmer's market, you could buy them loose at the farmer's market, but these are at the grocery store. And Michelle, you said you got these for like less than $2.
Yeah, they're $1.98 exactly at Walmart.
Okay, so $1.88. Look at all that dill. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. We're only putting a half a teaspoon in there, so I'm not really measuring this a whole lot. I'm gonna put like a little bit in there, about a half teaspoon, and I'm just chopping it up a little bit with my fingers and putting it in there. Nothing real fancy. If I don't have plans for the rest of this dill right away, there are ways we can store that, and we will provide all that information for you on our website. And then chives is the other one, and this is something really easy to grow in your backyard, but it just calls for like a half a teaspoon there. Now if you like the flavor of some of these things, you can always add more. It also calls for a half a teaspoon of ginger root, and this is just a fresh ginger root that is at the grocery store as well. You buy this by the pound. So I just bought this tiny little piece, and all I'm doing here is shaving off or taking off the outer little skin. That is perfect for my composter because I'm not going to eat that. And then it just, that little half teaspoon that it's calling for, you're just going to cut up, well, I'm going to cut that dry part off. But yeah, we're going to have this little half teaspoon of just chopped up ginger. Now ginger goes a long way, so you got to make sure if you buy it that you have some plans for it, because you're just going to be using little bits at a time. But this is your half teaspoon of ginger. And this is our little dressing. So just kind of give that a little whirl. Now the last ingredient, and this is why I wanted to do this recipe for you, is sugar. It kind of brings out some of the flavor in the cucumbers, and most cucumber salads, like ethnic groups that make this kind of thing, always add sugar. I know in my family it's super sweet. So what I wanted to show you is that you can use a sugar substitute for something like this. If you use a sugar substitute, this recipe is very low carb. So if you have diabetes or you're watching your carb intake, this is going to have like negligible carbohydrate in it if you use a sugar substitute. If you use the tablespoon of sugar that it calls for, then it's going to be sweeter, but you're going to have that carb in there. So what I learned is that the ratio of real sugar to sugar substitute is like an 1/8. Meaning this is so super sweet to our palate that you only have to use a tiny bit of this. So whereas it calls for a tablespoon of sugar, I'm going to use less than a teaspoon of this. I'm just gonna put a little bit in there to sweeten it up. And this happens to be like a stevia made by the Splenda brand, but you can use whatever sugar substitute you have at home. And you might have to like play around with this a little bit and add a little more if you find that it's just not sweet enough for you.
Someone mentioned, they said it's this looks like a refreshing dish, and that it would be good for a hot day when you don't want a heavy side dish.
Yes, it's a great way to use up your cucumbers and they're not so plain. I mean, we're adding sweet, we're adding dill, which is very interesting flavor, and we've got that hot kick from the red pepper flakes. So really, I mean, you could experiment with this and come up with your own thing. And I mean, we're doing it kind of on the fly here, but the longer this marinates in this dressing, the more flavorful it's going to be. And yeah, super refreshing. And if you are putting together a meal and you are putting this on your plate, that's just another way to get that whole half plate full of veggies. But yeah, I mean, these herbs and things are available at your farmers markets, your local grocery stores, and we will provide more information about how to utilize those and don't let them go to waste also. Okay, Michelle's still chopping back there. She's getting some beverages ready for us.
Yep.
But basically, we want to make sure that everybody completes the survey. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what we could do in the future. Let us know that you can hear us well, and if, you know, I don't know, what you think of our hats, whatever you want to comment on, please get those comments in. That puts you in the running for prizes, and it gives us a lot of great feedback. Remember to share all of your stuff too on all your social media. Tag NFP so that it kind of stays within our little family and we get to see it. Join our Facebook page. We recently started a Wellness for You specific Facebook page so that anybody that's familiar with NFP can keep an eye on this Facebook page and see all the things that Michelle and I are doing out in the community or back at the office. We're going to have recipes and resources and stuff there for you. And then finally, our Facebook page, or no, our website rather. We have a new wellness section of our Facebook. I keep saying that. Our website has a new wellness portion where, again, you can download recipes and some great stuff and see everybody's pictures and all that.
Someone commented that this is making them crave fresh veggies.
Oh, that's great.
And
It's been a success.
News.
And-
that is a win for us.
someone else commented too that they can hear us fine, which is good to know.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's a little noisy out here today. There's a lot of activity at the park.
Yeah. All right, so the very last thing, you know, we always got to come with something refreshing, but flavorful, packed with nutrients. You'll hear us say that all the time. And you'll also see me spill stuff all the time. It's just how it goes in my world, like right there. So what you have here, I'll move this over. Can you see it good, Madison? Mm-hmm. Okay, so what you have here is just some things that, again, are in season now. And I will add a couple of more ingredients to it, but I just want to see for you to see the start. So if you can see right now, that's full of citrus. It is oranges and lemon. What you want to do anytime this is infused water, anytime you infuse your water, especially with citrus, because the skin is pretty hard, you want to roll it, like you will see me rolling on my palm like that. Matter of fact, let me grab a lemon so I can show you. This lemon is pretty hard. So if you roll it like this, first of all, it's a great massager for your wrists if you have carpal tunnel like I do. So you want to roll it, roll the edges too if you can. It's a balancing act. But what it does is distribute all of the juice towards the center. Instantly it feels softer. I should have had one of you guys hold it before I did it so you can see and show and prove. If you're at home, do it now. It's okay. Get your workout in with your wrists. Your wrists and hands need to be worked out. So it distributes all the juice to the center of the citrus fruit, and it also makes it easier. It like removes the flesh from the skin a bit more, pulls it towards the center, so it makes it easier to chop. And then when you put it in here, if you can see, that's just the juice that was squirted in there when I put it in there. So that's how you make your citrus really juicy, because sometimes it can be extremely dry when it's been sitting a while. So that's that one, and it also has basil leaves in here. And this one Usually you might see cucumber water, thank you. Cucumber water if you go out to events or a family member's house or even ours. And you usually find it paired with green apples and where is my mints? There you go, mint leaves. And so with that, sometimes cucumber water is a very unique flavor and taste. And not everybody like it. They might also have lemon or lime in there as well, which I do. Lime and cucumber. But I also added watermelon in there for some natural sugar and the flavor to kind of offset that, like, I don't even know what that texture is you get on your tongue when you're drinking cucumber water, to kind of offset that. And then, of course, anytime you have some watermelon, always get you some mint, okay? The mint, I'm telling you, if you haven't tried it, the mint brings to life. So back in my 20s, we used to do this for, I'll say adult beverages, and you would rub the mints together and it kind of releases that flavor or the aroma, whatever the oils, thank you, within the leaves. So you just rub it together like that and you let it come to life, right? And then another thing you can do, I don't know if we have a grater.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we can make it work with that.
Oh,
You can take,
a
nope,
grater.
you're good, you're good. We can take some peels. I always make it work, right? We're good at doing that. But of course it's gonna fly around. With citrus, you can get you some shavings or some dry, I know, some dry ginger, and just put it in there with the citrus. It is really good to balance out the citrus flavor. Just some ginger, bring it to life as well. And then you top it off. We're gonna do water, kid-friendly water, right?
This is a rainbow in your pitcher.
Ah,
I mean,
like
we've
it.
got 5 different colors at least there.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's
you're utilizing
so
some
good.
stuff that we grabbed today. So again, you don't have plans for every single thing you picked up at the farmer's market. You can maybe put it in your water.
Yes, and this is infused water. And like I always tell you guys, the longer it sits, the more it infuses, the flavors infuses, and the flavors also marry together. And then you let this sit, I would say, 30 minutes. Some of it will be instant because we wrote and everything. But the longer you let it sit, not too long because the skins and everything, you do want to eventually remove it. I wouldn't say leave it in there more than 24 hours because you'll get a bitter flavor with some of the ingredients, but let it marry. And another thing is you can always mash it at the bottom of your pitcher before you pour the water in. That'll also release a lot of that flavor too. So there you have it, another great wellness for you session. One thing I didn't mention, I'm sorry, I'll do this really quick. This little pretty thing here, in case anybody was wondering.
Does anybody know?
Oh, good. Another challenge. The first person that respond, what fruit is this? Or I should have said, is it a fruit or vegetable? But womp womp. What fruit is this? Yeah. Anybody?
Anybody guessing?
It's so pretty. Love the color.
Now that
First
I
person
don't
respond
believe
with a
grows
gift
in
card.
Ohio.
I don't think it grows in Ohio either. This is something that's shipped in internationally, unless someone here has grown it. Somebody grew it in their backyard. Anybody? We have a gift card to give away. The first person that responds.
Are there any guesses?
Yeah, you can guess. I can give you like 20 more seconds. Let's do a
Oh,
countdown.
someone said dragon fruit.
Yes, who is that someone?
It was Jesus.
Yes.
And then
come on.
Mary Lee and Waleska also guessed dragon fruit.
Who was first?
It was Jesus.
All right, you're kicking it today. This is a dragon fruit. And I actually first had this I can't remember if it was the top of this year or mid last year, but it is so good. So just really quick to cut it open and then we'll be all done. Just so you can see the inside for folks. And please tell me if I cut this wrong, Jesus, especially if you're eating it all the time or whoever eat it all the time. Tell me if I cut it wrong, but I tend to just go like that.
Look at that.
Isn't it so pretty? Look at that, look at that, look at that. I just want to get you some good chunks so you can see it for the camera. Look how pretty. It's so colorful. It's fun. For me, this is fun. And it's super soft. Look at that. Just
It's
coming
kind of
up.
like a kiwi.
A kiwi texture.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it isn't that far away with the taste either. Like the seeds remind me of kiwi, but it's just a different pretty color. And it tastes so good and refreshing. So I will also cut some of this up and put it in a pitcher with whatever goes good with it. I will put this one in as well. How would you can respond, how would you infuse this and what would you infuse it with? So, Jesus, you got 2 gift cards coming your way, sir. Great job. And that's a fun one. It is a little bit more pricey because, again, it's shipped in from another place. So if you grew it locally, you potentially could be at a farmer's market selling at a booth and, side hustle.
We
So
buy it.
we would definitely buy it because this was about $5 at Walmart. So if I can find it somewhere for $3, let me know. All right, so there you have it.
That's it.
That's the end of our third session of Wellness Wednesday. Oh my goodness, I missed you guys. Wellness for You, session 3, the Farmers Market edition. I hope you guys had a great time today. You learned a lot, learned some new things, and I know we definitely learned from you all.
Yeah, and we'll see you again in 2 more weeks. We're gonna bring you another one. So again, comment, feedback, let us know how we're doing, and in 2 weeks, same time, and maybe different place.
Different place, but you still see us. We'll have a good time. And if you guys choose to compost, I found this one at Audi a little bit ago, but you might find it at any other store. It was pretty expensive, again, like $8. I get it from the Audi Fine Owl, the Owl of Shame, they call it now. I don't find it shameful. You can get stuff at great prices. So if you try to compost, you can do like an old school cookie jar or whatever container. If you do infused water, send us a picture. Don't send it to us. Actually, put it on the Wellness for You Facebook page and share it with other folks what you're doing. If you make any of this or you grow stuff yourself, you make cool dishes with it, show us and engage with us. We would love to see it, and that will also enter you into the great raffles that we have going on.
Yeah. All this can go in your composter too.
Yes.
So when you're scooping it out, ready to serve it,
Great point.
and you're
You can put
not
it
going
right
to eat
here.
that, it goes right in there. As
Yeah.
long as you haven't added like seasoning or fat or meat or anything to it, it can
Yeah.
go in that composter.
All right. So do we have any questions before we say bye-bye for now?
No, just a few people saying thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for tuning in every time you see us. So we hope to engage with you in between sessions with our Wellness for You Facebook page. All right. Don't forget to fill out that evaluation and come through the Wellness page and say hi.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.